So good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever part of the world you're in. Welcome to the very first edition of Amanda Turner Services Writers Corner, where we have conversations with writers for writers and hopefully for readers as well. And today I'm going to be here. I'm here with my name is Adeniki Adipola, and I'm here with my very best bestie. I've always thought that one person that I know that she will most likely say what I will say, even if I'm not there and we haven't talked about it, is the person I have here, and that's Adebukola Basi. Drum rolls, clap, 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 clap. Welcome, Adebukola.
Hello,
Welcome to
everybody.
So in this segment, we're going to be speaking with as writers to writers in particular, and people who want to become writers. And our topic today is tips for completing your manuscript. Because I'd run a poll a couple of weeks back in the Amanda Turner Services Writers community. We have a community on WhatsApp, on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X, Twitter, Threads, everywhere that people are converging, we are there. And so we had the question, and one of the big things that came out was, so the question was, why have you not published your book? And one of the one that had the most responses was that I haven't completed my manuscript. So obviously it sounds like one of the big issues for writers in completing their manuscript. So we thought we were going to have these conversations to talk. Adebukola is a published author. She will tell us how many books she has published. I'm a self-published author. I've done 3 published books, and I have a couple of things that I've written that I'm still trying to decide if I should publish them or just use them on social media. One of the books I published was co-written with my daughter, and that by itself is a masterclass in getting people like my daughter to complete anything. So the experience I'll be bringing is both my experience and how I was able to convince my daughter to complete the manuscript. So I'll hand over to Adebukola to give us a bit of introduction as to why she's here with me.
Thank you, Denny.
Thanks.
You can,
Okay, I'm struggling to hear you, ma.
you find that surprising. Or do you finish with your very, very important. I think it was interesting. Results of in our community or not. It's to me, it's also it's actually, solidified my experience with my own manuscripts, my experience with other people who are writing and they have consulted with me as a book editor. And you find that finishing is on a lot of spectrum, on different spectrums, sorry. There are those who don't finish writing their stories. They could have up to 4, 7, 20 unfinished manuscripts at different stages. There are those who finish writing it and then they're just like, oh my God, I concluded. And then they might not touch it for 5. Yeah. Of the publishing journey of getting it from written to published, they just lose interest. They lose the whatever it is that prompted them to write in the first place. It appears to be not enough to take them all the way. Personally, the most saddest experience of this I have had is of someone who had written his book before he contacted me in 2017. We finished editing the book early 2018, I think. This person is an accomplished newspaper journalist. He's a columnist. He's a highly rated ghostwriter. If I say highly rated, I mean in this Nigeria, if you are, you know,
Calling ghostwriters.
the very minimum, so I'm and still not published one storybook. A well-written novel, I might say. But he hasn't published it up till today. He contacted me around, we finished editing the editing round in 2018, early 2018. Imagine my shock when around 2022, he contacted me simply to ask me if I am sure that story is good enough.
So
And that's
thank you for sharing this. Yeah, you've taken me down memory lane, because there's someone I know that he dilly-dallied, as you said. It took a lot of time looking for how it to be perfected, and he did get the book published. But there, and I think we'll get to the point at some point in our conversations where we talk about the setting up your book so that it outlives you and it continues to bless. Because he did publish the book. Unfortunately, he passed away, and there's no foundation that is. In fact, there are two people now that I'm thinking about. There's no structure in place to keep the book getting published, even now that they are gone. Two of them. One of them, he was the sole breadwinner of his house, and his wife did not feel empowered enough to be able to continue with with all the great writing and all that he had done. And so, yeah, so this, I'm sorry about the person who it still hasn't published in it, but at least he's still alive, so he still has a chance, right? Unfortunately, I know two people who, unfortunately, their works did not outlive them because the structure was not built to ensure that. I'm sorry for jumping in. Please continue what you were saying. I'm sorry, I just remembered that, so I thought I should share. Can Adebukola hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. So you were saying that the person did not build structure around the
Yes, and I believe we'll get to that conversation. It's not the conversation for today, but it was while you were speaking that I remember that at least I know two men who wrote. Unfortunately, for one of them, he had some family challenges and all. And so that also, because he did try to build a structure, but it was a structure that was built on sand, and it did not outlive him. And the other one did not even have a structure at all. So I believe we will get to that point, but let's even have a manuscript that we are even trying to then keep as a legacy, because one of the reasons why I like to encourage people to write, whatever it is that is in your head, write it. Is that many of us remember Moses as a prophet, as a whatever, the savior of Israel. But Moses was an author. He was the one that gave us the first 5 books of the Bible. And some of them, they came by inspiration, because how did Moses know what God told Adam or what he told Abraham? They came by inspiration. And some things that seem like regulars for you, they are not easy for other people. And it's when you write and you put down what God has told you in the secret place that it becomes knowledge that the rest of us can use. Because I'm sure many of us will be able to say that, oh, it was when I read this chapter of the Bible that, or this book, that I had this level of clarity. But imagine if the person who penned down those books did not write them, did not complete their manuscript, they did not get it to a place where you could have bought it, then that knowledge, though it was given to the world did not benefit from it, because someone did not take time to document their journey. You hear of people like Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a governor. He was busy, but he managed to still document his journey. And till date, we are still taking leadership lessons from a man called Nehemiah. that used to be the king's cupbearer, and then he became a governor. He faced a lot of adversity, but it took time to document. And today, every one of us that can find ourselves in that kind of situation can go and open that book and be blessed. So I'll hand over again to you, Adebukola, to finish what you were saying.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So that is my experience of how badly it can be.
Yeah.
And we know there's a particular press in Nigeria that actually has one submission window they call Dusty Manuscripts. I don't know if they continue with it. When they came out with that, it was very funny because sincerely, as you are listening now, ask yourself, how many Dusty Manuscripts do I have?
Well, the good thing is that my own manuscripts are not dusty because they are digital, so they are not dusty. Or they are hiding somewhere in some Google Drive.
That's why I think they are not dusty, right?
But they are not gathering dust because they are digital. That's the only reason why. So, like I said my daughter is, I finally was able to convince her to get us to publish one book. So this weekend, I think it was on Saturday, she just came and she began to narrate a story that came to her, something about a boy and working with his father. Very, very something that I would love to read, really. And then she finishes talking. So I'm like, oh yeah, go and write down what you said. And then it was as if we were dragging, when she was saying it, the thing was flowing. Oh yeah, sit down and write that thing that you thought. I mean, you're not bringing up new thoughts, so just write.
It's harder.
So then she's now like, I'm not sure if it makes sense. I say, write it. It doesn't have to make sense. Just write everything as it's coming to you. So for me, I think that's one of the challenges that writers have. You want it to come out perfect the first time. And for me, that has been one of. So I would like to share my story of how I started writing. I've always been a book lover. I've always loved to read, and of course, when I write, I'm an engineer. So when I write reports, I get the feedback that, oh, you write well. Your writing is very clear. Engineers are notorious for writing terribly. And so there's always this. In fact, when I was in university, my pastor used to ask me that, are you sure you're studying engineering? That your English is too good for somebody that is studying engineering? That your command of the language is too good for someone who is there, which engineers are notorious for. So, but for me, my dad invested a lot in us reading as children, and also it was just second nature. And so I remember that there was a report that I had not, it was not my business. It was not in my discipline. It didn't concern me. But one of the client reps insisted that he wanted me to work with the person who was writing the report, that he wanted me to basically compile the reports, because he was like that when he reads reports from me, he understands what we are trying to say. That the other people, they just write on. So I knew that I had some flair for writing. But the big issue has always been that my primary school teacher used to call me Osho the straight. And what that means is that once I'm thinking, I skip the processes in between. I just go to the answer, because I hate reading long. Once anything, that's why I always tell people, if you want to wish somebody happy birthday, don't write their episode. Don't write happy birthday. I'm glad I met you. You have been good in my life. Let it be like 2 paragraphs. In fact, 2 paragraphs is too long. Do 1 paragraph. We're okay. We understand that you love them. All this. Once I see long things, my attention span is gone. And so then I can't. So I know that it was sometimes I had some quarrel with my husband or something. I was so angry. I was a malice skipper. We will go back to that conversation one of these days. So I was doing my regular malice skipping. So I wasn't talking to him. So I went to my corner of the house and I started writing something, that whatever it is that came to my head. That story I still haven't completed. It's one of my dusty manuscripts. But the reason why it's not dusty is because I started writing it on my phone. I was typing. on the phone that my husband bought for me, angry with the person that bought the phone, but I was typing and I started writing the story. And it was just stuff that I've always dreamt of. I've imagined that I wish that there would be like one female senator that would almost become president. And I was writing her backstory, just coming from my head. And by God's grace, when I told Dion, Dion, when I told Dion about that story, she was like, this story has to be written. So when I wrote my first book, in my dedication, I said this is also dedicated to Dion, that I promise that manuscript you read before I'm 80, I will still write it. So I've still committed. I've still not finished it, but I know that we'll go back and finish it. But as I was writing it, I was like, this makes sense. I could already see how it will go with her. Then after, I hadn't learned at the time about writing an outline for your book. Because for me, that's one of the tips that helped me with completing the ones that finally got completed. Immediately, I didn't start with writing. I first of all started with putting together the outline, which chapters I'm going to write about. How many chapters is it going to be? It really helps me. And then when there's a publisher I got to that was looking at my first book, and it was like, he wishes that I could have had a lot of conversations with, with first-time writers. That I wrote, it was 26 chapters. Eventually, I had to sit down recently and take out some parts of that book because the book is long. It's plenty. It's a lot. So it was like that. What you can do is that just write it to the point where there's an opportunity for a sequel or a prequel, but write it so that, okay, yes, you develop the characters a bit. And then he was like, there are quite a number of characters. You could have just introduced some of those characters here. And then in your subsequent books, you can develop those characters. So for me, those are some of the things that I wish I knew that I did not know when I started writing. And Adebukola will tell you the manuscript I sent to her versus the one that she gave me back, what it looks like, which is also highlighting the importance of having a developmental editor. I believe she will break that down more to us, and engaging them as quickly as possible in your writing process, because there's something about when you're bouncing those ideas off someone else, they really help with you are more likely to grow faster. Then I would also like Adebukola to speak about the role of writing sprints, writing challenges, and completing your manuscript. There you go. Over to you, Ma.
Okay, so Denike, thank you for sharing your experience on how writing came to you and how much work you have been doing around it. I have seen the growth you have gone through, and I know you will continue, because the one thing I would like to start with is that, see, discipline that people have taken out of the creative, I would say they've taken it out, and I'll explain myself. They've taken discipline out of the creative process, and it's really affecting a lot of. No, they've taken it out because what it means, you see this thing saying you are waiting for your muse to kick in. You are waiting for the mood to follow you. You are waiting to know what to do or to be in the mood to write. It actually affects so many people and their creativity. But you see people from rigid science backgrounds, they were not that, no one gives them that leeway from the very beginning. No one gave them that leeway. They did not start thinking they have to wait for it to feel a particular way, or for the lighting, or for the sunshine, or for waiting for complete silence around them before they can start work. No, there was nothing like that. And so they do not add that to their creative process when they turn out to have that creative spirit within them. It's not only writing. Even for those who draw, even for those who paint, even for those who write songs, even for those who sing, you find
those
people
who make movies.
Yes, you find people overestimating the role of mood to get to their work and underestimating the just sit down and go through it. They underestimate how much that will help them. So I'm going to say that there's one author I was following back to back on Facebook. Her name will come to me now. She's not in Nigeria, but she's a Nigerian. She writes so well. She's fully Nigerian and all of that. And this author, she said she just sits. I don't have time for mood. I'm a scientist, you know. I've forgotten the questions she was asked. And, you know, it's just, she said, well, why do you need a specific, you know, thing to write? You just write. I just write. And so she's able to complete her manuscript. She's able to query. She's able to go and whatever she told. I think I don't know. But she's able to immediately jump into it. If your editor uses this way, just do I agree? If I don't agree, why don't I agree? And, you know, just be very upfront and non-emotional about the process, because at the end of the day, your book is going into a non-emotional market.
Exactly. And can I just jump in? Can I jump in a bit on this? So what I'm hearing you say is that you take writing as a discipline, not as something that you do for leisure or for fun.
More of it needs to do that.
As you want to. And for me, that's what helped me really complete the first manuscript that got written into a book that got published. I initially approached it from so there was a day I was stuck in traffic, and then I got like this flash of inspiration, and I wrote like the first chapter at the time. Eventually I've combined that into another chapter. So, you know, then I just kept going as the mood allowed. And then I was in a meeting where we were talking, and basically somebody, we weren't even talking about writing, but someone was sharing her testimony. And she was saying that, well, she had published like maybe 17 or 18 books or so at the time, or maybe 9 or something. It was quite a number. And so she was saying that what helped her was that every day she would dedicate an hour to writing. So she found the best 1 hour in a day, and she would sit down and she would write portions of her book. And I was like, because I was struggling with completing my manuscript at the time. And so I was like, okay, I don't have 1 hour. What I'm going to do is 30 minutes. And so what I will do is that when I'm done with my Bible study and prayers in the morning, I realized I had a 30-minute window I could use for writing. And then so every day it was like I had 30 minutes that I would use to write, and I would write. And that discipline. So what I do is that when I'm in the writing mode, I have those 30 minutes, but I now know that I also need to market my book. So now the 30 minutes is going to sometimes writing, sometimes marketing. By the time I fully dedicated those 30 minutes a day to completing one manuscript. I'll let you continue speaking. I'm sorry.
No problem at all. Thank you for adding that, because what you find is that the natural creatives who migrate towards the arts as a matter of course, it's not that they don't know that they can schedule 1 hour per day. It is that they don't follow through. For some reason, they believe that there has to be a specific condition in place for the thing to flow. But it's a lie. One of the most important advice I've ever gotten in this line of work is sit there. Exactly. Start reading what you have already written. The rest will come to you.
Yes, and just to buttress that and to add to the conversation I was having about my daughter. So when I told her, go and sit down and write what you just told me, by the time I made her go the second time, she had added some things to what she told me. So it wasn't exactly the story she told me again. She had gotten some more inspiration as she was writing. And the story began to develop itself as she was writing it. So for me, I found, so one of the things, and I also like to add, so in getting her to complete the first book we co-wrote, one of the ways I was able to get her to do that was that then I wasn't even at home, so it was our way of bonding. So we both had a canvas sheet that we were going to. So she would write something, then she would message me that please go and check what I wrote. Is it fine?
Okay.
Then I'll look at it, then I'll add something. And so she was feeding off my energy. So anytime I add something, then she's like, oh no, I don't really think it should be this way. Then she puts something because she wants to basically, because I've understood my daughter, she's like me. She will not accept what you gave her like that. She must
Just
edit
like
it.
that. Mm.
So the very easy trick in getting her to put something was just to put anything I felt like putting, because I knew that she would definitely challenge it, and in challenging it, she would bring her own actual ideas. So that was how we were able to feed up. But when that was not working, I eventually had to. We both got a writing coach, but the aim was to get her to finish writing, and then we were able to eventually. And because she, as a mark of respect for the person, because you know that children used to see their parents finish, but
Mm.
when it's somebody else, it's someone that she really 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 has absolute respect for. So it was,
Mm.
and thankfully the person had a writing challenge for a month, and the lady had reached out to me and she was like, oh, she wants to deal with adults, but she also wants to deal with children, that she's not sure. So I was like, combine everybody. We are all writers, Abby. Just have one WhatsApp group for everybody and tell all of us everything. The interesting thing is that the children took it more seriously than the adults. And I
That's
think
what you do.
we now have more of the children that published books than the adults that did. The adults are still where they are struggling. Mhm.
Mm.
And I think that's going to be one of the tips that we probably will be taking forward as Amanda Turner Services as well. Maybe some of our challenges will open them up to child writers as well, particularly during their holidays. Because from what I see, children seem to follow through faster than adults do. And anyway, so because we had, and then, we got prompts every day, it got her to sit down. It's still that point of being disciplined. But in this case, there was help because she was getting prompts. And then, we will send in what we wrote. The coach will give us feedback. It was really helpful in getting her to the completion point. I'll hand over to you again.
Okay. Thank you for adding that, what that looks like in practice.
Yeah.
So we find that sincerely, there's nothing beats telling yourself, sit down and get it done. There are so many things in life that we do out of a sense of responsibility. I don't know why we don't apply it to our writing. We should. We should. Anytime you find yourself trying to chicken out, go finish that book. There's one short story I did that you really like. You've referred to it many times, so I know you really like the story.
Is it small chops or water?
No, it's
Oh, the one of the that the mother left and she
yeah.
had a reason. I'll remember the title now, but I love it because I think it touches on the issue of particularly emotional abuse, because there's a lot of focus on physical abuse.
Mm.
I know, but what if the person did not lay hands at all on this person, but you didn't feel, and thank God for the King
And
of Malice that gave us the
malice,
opportunity to.
keeping, all those things.
So
All those.
I really hope that I'll remember the title, and I hope you will still go on to make that book, make it more than a short story, because I think it's a powerful one. I'll find the link. I think we have it on Amanda Turner Services, and I'll put it in the description. So for anyone that is interested, please go and read this. And let me know if I'm the only one that loves it or if other people do. But I did love that thing. I love that thing. Please go on with what you were saying.
So I just wanted to share the journey that led to that short story getting published. So I was washing plates. I'm the type to always run away from plate washing. But on this specific day, I told myself, clear this kitchen, madam, and just get it done and over with. It was midday, after breakfast. So I just stood there And because it's a chore for me, I don't like doing it. I just removed my mind from the process. And in removing my mind from the process, the story started coming to me. I allowed my mind float, and it just started forming, a woman, if a woman is separated from her children for a very long time, the first day they meet and the children are now full adults on their own, etc., how will it go? How does such things go? And I started to wonder, and I wonder, and I finished washing plates because I was still wondering. I decided to trash the waste. I went downstairs to do that, all that journey. And our former house, it's just a small building in one full plot, right? So
One very large.
yes. So you trek all the way back. I was inside the story already. It was already forming. I could see it was moody in the room. The light was not really on, they were relying on daylight. The mother was seated, one child was standing. I was already seeing it, and I was already seeing it. And at this point in my life, I knew anything that comes to me of its own accord that way, if I do not get it down immediately, it is gone. It is gone. I have only ended up entertaining myself, that is all. So what I did when I got back upstairs was to immediately wash my hands, I wanted to mop the kitchen floor, but I ignored it because the story was ready. I went to sit down immediately with my phone. I started to type it out. So once I was done typing it out, I sent it to my email. From email, I copied it out on the computer, and I just started. I'm telling you, I finished this story within 2 hours. It's just a short story. I was done within 2 hours. But guess what?
To publish it or to get it out.
No, I kept it. I left it. It needed to age. It needed to mature.
So that you could think about it and see if you want to add anything more. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yes. So, but fortunately for me, I actually went back on time. I went back within a month. I read through, did this, did that, touch this, touch that, and I just went to get my cover done because I was going to self-publish it. It's just a short story. I did not intend to do a collection. So, I'll just self-publish this. I did a cover for it, and it's been out there since then. Yes. But
I don't see it on, I'm sorry, I don't see it on our Amanda Turner store. So please, can you help upload? I don't think it's here.
Okay, on our seller store.
Yes.
It should be there. Okay, I will re-upload.
Please look at it. It's not that weekend now. It's not Senami.
No, it's not.
And it's not water, because what I have here are water that weekend, small chops, Senami.
I think it's the title was supposed to be like My Story or something.
No, it wasn't My Story.
I know, but that's the vibes.
But I know because so what we do in Amanda Turner Services is that we have the short stories as they come to us. We put their big stories are there too. So if you feel like you're not ready to publish your big story yet, but you really want to get yourself out of the way, because what some people do is that they put themselves under the discipline of writing something so that they get into the discipline of writing. So it doesn't always have to be that and so that's why for me, I have like God knows how many stories. Sometimes I'm sleeping and God is giving me ideas of a story. There was a day, I think my daughter and I, we went out and we came back and we were talking. So the day before, 2 days before, I was in the lift. So I was on the phone and I was telling someone that, once I get back to my room, I'm just going to go and sleep. And someone in the lift was like, that's very, very important, that no matter what is happening, just go and sleep first. Then when my daughter and I were going back the next day, the same person was in the same lift. So he brought up the conversation about sleeping. And then so I was like, oh, that was you yesterday. And, we talked a bit about it. So when we left the lift and we got home, my daughter was like, oh, imagine if there was a story about this, that people started a conversation in the lift, and from there they find out that they actually know themselves. And from that conversation, we had a story already. We started typing, we started working on something based on just that conversation, because both of us were feeding off each other. What if it happens this way? What if? So I was like, you know what, let's write this down. It's not yet ready to be published, but let's capture this idea.
Okay.
One day I'm sleeping and I have this dream where I know that it's not anything to do with my future. I know that this one is a story, because it's something about domestic abuse, but in the sense of that it's the woman that is abusing her husband, and she provokes him to the point where he's actually attacking her in public, and everyone hears the story, and the man is originally to blame until everyone hears the full story. So I knew that, okay, I have the spark of an idea. I've already written it down somewhere. I know that I can't get to it yet, but I'm capturing it somewhere, so that when I get, so my plan is that I have things I want to clear in me, so that by June I can now focus on writing just for the sake of writing. Not that I am going to publish yet, but at least let me get the manuscripts that are still hanging. There are like 16 or 17 of them that are hanging. Let me start clearing some of them, because I have gone through the process for like 6 or so of those books. I've started putting them out, but I know that I have to. So because I know that what happens with some people, because Bukola and I were having a conversation, is that you write that one book and then you spend all of your life trying to publish it and then the other things that you need to be getting to are not being addressed, because you are so focused on getting that one book out. It's great to have the focus, but I believe that we are not one hit wonders. There's usually more where that came from. So when I read that your amazing book, the next question most readers have is, what else has this person written? And so you could have written 20 books. It could be that it's on your 20th book that you will now, in quotes, blow. Then everyone now wants to go and see everything else that you have written. But if all you did was just focus on one book, then I'm going to go like, oh, that book was great, but the person didn't write anything else.
It could even look like beginner's luck, even though you put
Exactly.
all your brain power in it.
Exactly. And I feel like that's where there's what they call it, a correlation with movies. Because, we know some of the producers, for example, Omoni Oboli, she had been consistently putting out movies every week that nobody was saying a lot about. Then she puts out one that, in my opinion, was not her greatest story. Love in, what was that one? Hey, is it Love in Every Word? I think it was Love in Every Word, something like that. It wasn't, because I've watched some movies before then that those had stronger storylines, but for some reason it hit the right tones. It's every as in people could relate with it in such a way that I don't know. I really don't know what the magic formula was in that movie. But it was the one that everybody was not like, hey, 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 hey. And then, it was the one that blew. For example, Uzo too had been acting before then. And, people that knew him, that had been following him, knew that he had been acting, was such a great actor. But that was the one that made everybody now go like, this Odogu, I want to see everything else that he has done. But imagine if he was just so focused on promoting that one that he considered to be his best movie, and that was the one he was putting all of his energy in. We also know, well, my sister and I were speaking, and we're like that what he got the best actor for in AMVCA. Not many people have really watched that movie. But it's just that it was like an accumulation of all the things that he had done. But that was the one movie that they were able to. But then it will now cause you to want to go and see everything else that he has done. So the writer's corollary is keep writing. The discipline. When you take writing as a discipline, and I like the way you came with it. I have an engineering degree. You don't wake up and say, I feel like solving the Y, the X. And nobody cares about your feelings, to be honest. Nobody cares. If you like, we haven't just finish let your boyfriend finish serving you breakfast. You will go to that exam hall and go and solve the YDX. Whether you're happy or not happy, that's your business. Your lecturer is not going to say that, because they served that breakfast, Oh yeah, don't do the YDX today. Let's give you simpler algebra. Nobody cares. We had a lecturer once that deceived us to come to class on a Saturday, and he told us it was going to be like for maybe 1 hour because he had missed all his classes because he was doing PP. So he wanted to catch up. So he told us that we should come, that it would just be done in an hour. So we showed up in an hour. For the 1 hour in our minds, it was 1 hour. 1 hour now became 2 hours. They're not like, excuse me, sir. So it was like, okay, it's going to give us a break. So during the break, he now came to where we were buying stuff. He paid for everything that everybody had bought. Me, in my mind, I thought I was sharp. I thought I'd caught him. So I was like, he should not pay for my own. That I don't want him to pay. So when we got back to class, when people started complaining again, I was like, but I paid for what you people bought. And me, I was like, you didn't pay, it did not matter. You will sit down in that class and you will finish that, what he wants to teach you. So for me, well, we had to learn discipline from all of those things. Sometimes they will tell you, but you have to get to class at either 5 a.m. People will not back, they are there. And they will not say that because the lecturer did not come all the days, he did not come. You are still expected to study and be ready and be approved. And I know because we do it, we go to work when we don't feel like going to work. I'm sure that people that have done 8 to 5, 9 to 5, you don't always wake up and say, yay, it's time to head to work. But if you take your writing as a serious thing, because remember what we were saying in the beginning, people like Moses, it didn't look as if he was going to be paid for writing, right? But it was an important part of his assignment, because he could have done all the great and wonderful things. If it was not documented, we will not know about it today, right? It was an important part of the assignment. So when you see the writing as an important part of your assignment in life, you will find out that sometimes there's someone I was speaking with that she said that sometimes when she's writing, she writes a chapter, she will sit down, she will weep because it opens up wounds. So after she has spent 15 minutes weeping, she will go back to the writing and continue, because the person, our boss in this case, is the Holy Spirit. And Holy Spirit not send you. Say you are crying. When you cry, finish, clean your eyes, go back and continue writing. So feel all the emotions you want to feel. Do everything you want to do, but go back. That the blessing is in that going back. That's when the healing. So for some of us, in writing the books, that's how we will properly heal from all of the experiences we are writing about. It is when you write that you now begin to see, oh, is this what I lived through? Wow. So I survived this. That means that there's hope for me in even this other one that I'm dealing with. And in doing that and in being disciplined, that's where the healing is. That's where the salvation is. That's where, then by the time you come out, because that's the difference between you and AI. AI cannot feel those emotions. So AI will, so sometimes what I even do is that, okay, that thing that I'm thinking about, I will put it in Chat GPT. So give me outline. Then at least, so now I have outline. So that as I'm weeping today, I still know that after weeping today, there's still outline for tomorrow. I will go and sit down with outline. I'll weep again tomorrow. Then after that, I'll weep next tomorrow. But outline is still there waiting for me. When you cry finish, you come back. We continue. So Adebukola, do you have any last words for us as we end this our May 2026 Writers Corner, and as we look forward to the one in June?
Yeah, so I'd like to say to writers, please, you're a business. Your book
Thank
is a
you.
business. Approach it
Thank
as
you.
such, okay? Approach it as such, and you find that you give yourself less excuses. You give yourself less excuses, and you show up more for your work. When you need help, you reach out for it. Denike, when we had that sprint, I got this, and I'd really like to finish it, but I've been so this, I've been so that. Can you just ask me once a day or once a week what's my progress? It could be as simple as that to get you from where you are to where you expect to be.
Thank you very much, Adebukola. So in closing, are we expecting to have another writing challenge in June? Or when is our next writing challenge coming up, madam?
Hopefully we can do it in June. June will
Okay.
be good.
Okay, and I hope we'll also take on board the consideration about bringing on children writers as well, because I think it also helps with the morale.
Okay, we should.
Something to consider. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in June. Please feel free to send in your questions. You can reach out to at Amanda Turner Services on Instagram. I should have put her phone number here. Don't worry, in June. Just send a DM on Instagram. We'll see it. And if you have any questions, anything you'd like us to address, please feel free to put that in. Thank you very much, Adekola.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on.
Yeah. Bye.
Stop. Bye-bye.